This is the stack of every book I added to my physical collection in the month of January. It is too heavy for what I'm allowed to hold, so we're going to hopefully keep it balanced here. And I am going to give you a quick breakdown of everything I added, what I thought of it, or when I think I'm going to read it. And I will be really transparent about how much this cost. And the answer is very, very little. I'm extremely, immensely grateful to receive a lot of physical ARCs from publishers, but this month I also won a prize through my library where I got to select 8 ARCs totally free as a prize. So this stack might look misleading, but we're going to break it down. I want to start with the 4 books that I paid money for out of my pocket. And the first 2 came from my birthday party in a bookstore where we got to do some after-hours shopping. I'm going to insert some clips of what it looked like so you can see how magical it was. It was so cool, and if you are in the Wilkesboro, North Carolina area, you need to check out the book room and schedule this with your book besties. You need 6 to 10 people. It's a $25 deposit, and you can bring in any food, like snacks and charcuterie, not like hot foods that could like get on books and stuff, but it was absolutely phenomenal. So during that event, I bought 2 books. The first is The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and it is about the gift economy in both nature and in our day-to-day lives. The back says all flourishing is mutual, which really resonated with me. There's also a quote in here where an anthropologist asks a hunter who like got meat in a time where it's not really easily available and is sharing it with his community. The anthropologist asks him, like, why are you not putting that food in storage when you don't know when you'll be able to get more? And the hunter responds, and he's an indigenous person, and says, I am storing the meat in the belly of my brother. And I just cannot stop thinking about that. I read this in December. It was my top nonfiction read of the year, and I just cannot stop thinking about how much better the world would be if we could think that way. And I am trying to shift my mindset too, because I think my individual life would be better. Sorry, I should not have done that with my hand. I also purchased a copy of Catalina. I don't know a ton about it, but I have seen really phenomenal reviews. And it says, a year in the life of Catalina Ilturralde. That was rough. A wickedly wry and heartbreakingly vulnerable student at an elite college, forced to navigate an opaque past, an uncertain future, tragedies on 2 continents, and the tantalizing possibilities of love and freedom. That sounds so good to me. Also, like, look at this cover. And it's even, like, foiled. I can't wait. It was slightly damaged, so I got it for 25% off, which for me is not a big deal, and 25% off is awesome. The other 2 books I purchased were Crying in H Mart and Jodi Picoult's 19 Minutes. I bought 19 Minutes because, 1, I haven't read it, but 2, I know that this is really high on a lot of banned books lists, so I want to have a physical copy for myself. I do know that it is about a school shooting, and the other is Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. I listened to an audiobook of this in 2023, I think. I thought it was very good. It was a great memoir, and she is the lead singer in Japanese Breakfast, and I am toying around with the idea of teaching a celebrity memoir class maybe next spring, so I would definitely probably include this. Next, let's talk about the books that I bought using a trade-in credit at a used bookstore. Stay. Okay. Every couple of months, I make the trip down to Winston-Salem to go to Trader Joe's and McKay's, which is a used bookstore, and they sell some other stuff. And I lucked out. I brought some books that, don't tell my mom, but my mom had given me to read, like, from, like, people whose hair she does that I just really wasn't interested in. They were, like, really pretty new books, so I thought I would bring them there, and I got $40 in credit, which has never happened to me before, and I didn't even spend it all, but I did get 3 books. The first is Love and Saffron, and it is a novel of friendship, food, and love. Now, I don't know very much about this book, except for the dog-eared book always talks about this being phenomenal, and I trust their recommendations blindly. So I'm excited. And the quote on the front says, it's like a dinner with friends you won't want to end. So it sounds delightful, and I cannot wait to read that. I also got Blood Like Magic by Liselle Sambury. I tried to get this from my library, and never got a chance to read it before it was like needing to be returned because so many people had holds on it. So I thought that's an indicator to me that it's good. So now I have my own copy to read and I'm looking forward to it. And then I got Severance by Ling Ma. I believe this is dystopian. And I feel like it gets pretty mixed reviews, but I am teaching a modern dystopian class in the fall. So I thought I would give it a read, check it out. It's also only a couple bucks and I had credit, so I was excited about that. I did receive one book as a gift from another person. I won Policy's trivia over in Crystal's live on TikTok. And she sent me Clara and the Sun, which is another dystopian fiction, and it is Paula's favorite dystopian. So I trust her, and I can't wait to read this. And in case you're wondering if you would win the trivia, the question was, in what dystopian book do the people who fight fires become people who start fires? And the answer is Fahrenheit 451. So I'm excited for that. Then I was very, very lucky that my library does this program where if you participate in the reading challenge and you submit your reviews for the books you read for it, at the end of the year, you like win arcs. So I got to pick out 8 arcs. So here's what I got. Okay, here are the arcs that I got, and I have a whole separate video of this on my TikTok, so I'm going to do this quickly. The first is That Librarian, and it is about a librarian navigating the book banning crisis in America on the line, which I read a library copy of, so I was really excited to get a physical copy of, and it is about a union organizer and a person who is trying to like help start a union at a laundry factory. It's incredible. I'm so grateful to have a physical copy because I know that this is a book I will want to come back to in the future. Blood Debts, which I'm very excited about. It is set in New Orleans. There's magic, and it's by Terry J. Benton Walker. I have wanted to read this for a really long time, but it's so hard to get through my library because everyone else wants to read it, which is good news. When did it come out? It came out in April 2023, and the hold list is still very long, which tells me that this is a great book, so I can't wait to read it. The next is Zoe Brennan, First Crush. I actually had an audio arc sitting on my phone when I saw this at the library, so I thought I could do some immersive reading. And I liked this. I didn't love it. I really liked Hannah Tate Beyond Repair better. I was not that interested in the setting of a winery, and I liked the love interest, but I didn't like the main character that much. But I think that that was a personal thing. I would still recommend this, and I think a lot of people would like it, and it just came out this month. The next is a gay zombie book called The Z Word, and I'm not going to lie, I picked it up because the cover is so cool. And then I found out that it says, "The last pride is a bloodbath." And I'm not usually a zombie person, but that sounded kind of fun. So I did pick up The Z Word. And then the next one is one that I have really been trying to get an arc of, and this is called Behooved, and it comes out in May of 2025, and it is from Bramble, and I believe that maybe there's a shifter happening, but it's supposed to be cozy and for fans of Legends and Lattes and My Lady Jane, so I cannot wait to read Behooved. And the last thing I got from my library is another book that comes out this year, is The River Has Roots by Amal El-Mohtar, who is one of the authors of This Is How You Lose the Time War. So I cannot wait to read this. It's very short, but I think it's going to be very good, and I'm so excited. And then the 8th book I got from that program was The White Guy Dies First, which I already had an arc of, but it was my friend Kelsey's, like one of her favorite horror books of the year. So I got that for Kelsey and gave it to her, and she happened to have an arc of A Vile Season that she was not really interested in keeping that I am interested in. So I'm excited to read this. I've heard this kind of marketed as like The Bachelor with vampires. Sounds good to me. And the rest of these are physical arcs I received. So I'm going to give you the rundown of what I know about them so far. The Garden just came today, and this is about 2 elderly women at the end of the world. I am always looking for books that have older main characters. I think that they have so much more wisdom to give, that they are often more interesting and more nuanced. So I cannot wait to read The Garden. I do think it might freak me out a little bit, but I think it'll be worth it. And I mean, it's so cool looking. And they sent me a hardcover, which is so nice. So thank you so much to the folks at Putnam for sending this my way. I have already read The In-Between Bookstore, which got blurbed by Jodi Picoult, which is kind of wild. But The In-Between Bookstore is about a trans man who leaves New York City and goes back to his like small town to help his mom move and to just kind of get a reset and figure out what he wants in life. And when he goes to visit the bookstore that he used to work in, he finds that there is like a time loop happening only in the bookstore. I will say this is one of my favorite ever time travel books that I've ever read. I think it's so well done. I think it's so interesting. I also really appreciated, as a queer person living in a rural place, seeing queer people thriving in this small rural town. So I love this. I would highly recommend it. Another one I've already read is Drift and Currents Clean and Clear by Shannon McGuire. This is the 10th book in the Wayward Children series. I was honored to receive a copy because this series is like my new favorite, like probably my favorite series that I read in 2024. It's phenomenal, and this book in particular just follows one main character, and we kind of explore some of like the ethical issues with adoption and people's intentions around adoption, people's perceptions of disability, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's so good. If you have not yet started the Wayward Children series, like, this is your sign. The next is Jennifer Weiner's book, The Griffin Sisters' Greatest Hits. And this is about two sisters who are like the stars of the early 2000s. And they were divided by fame, and now they're trying to come back together. That is all I know, but I'm really excited. If you're interested in getting a copy, it releases in April, and it looks like the first print will have like a really cool sprayed edge, if that's something that is exciting to you. Also, stay tuned. I'll post a review at some point. I also got sent a hardcover copy of This Is the Year. I am not the right reader for this book. I did not realize how stream of consciousness it would be, and how like teenager focused it would be. So it wasn't bad. I just wasn't the right person for this book. I will absolutely be finding a young person to give this copy to, though, because I do think it does a really good job of exploring important questions in a way that like relates to teenagers. The lovely, wonderful folks at Forever sent me 2 books this month. You Between the Lines, which follows 2 like childhood rivals in like an elite PhD program, and Yin Yang Love Song, and it is about a Chinese herbalist, which is a topic I'm very interested in, and whether she falls in love or not, I think I'm gonna love it. And the last is Going Home by Tom Lamont. This is supposed to be a really beautiful story about friendship and fatherhood and forgiveness, and it just sounds really, really good. Early reviews all talk about how well done the prose is and how like funny and bright it is, so I can't wait to check this out. If you want more details on any of these books, let me know. If you're Paula, I don't know if you follow me over here, thank you. And if you are one of the people behind sending physical ARCs to readers, please just know, like, it feels like the most special honor every single time I get a book in the mail. I think it is absolutely incredible that people are willing to share work with me and to share art with me, so that I can hopefully be like some small part of that process by promoting these books. It feels unreal that I get to do that, and it is a huge privilege that I do not take lightly. So if you have any questions about these books, let me know. If you have any thoughts, let me know. And I need to get this inside before it starts to rain because it looks gloomy outside. So I'll see y'all soon.